Retreat gives aspiring authors an opportunity to get first-hand information on what makes a book successful. And to talk to us more about the Writers' Retreat, we're now joined by acclaimed publisher and columnist Thabiso Mahlape. Thabiso, great having you on the show. A very good afternoon to you.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Great, it's a pleasure. Now, tell us about yourself and what exactly you do.
So I'm a publisher. I make people's dreams come true. So you come to me with an idea and you say, I have this book, I want to get published. And I basically say it's good, it's rubbish, keep your day job, those kind of things. And then we then undertake the process of publishing a book. And then in my happy time, I'm a columnist. I write for the Sowetan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Writers' Retreat, tell us more about it. What's it about?
So I came into publishing in 2010 as an intern. And so what I quickly found about the publishing space was that it was very white. It was a very white industry catering for a very white audience. And so when I then progressed into being a publisher and when I started publishing black stories and black narratives, then a lot of black people suddenly woke up to the fact that you can get a book published in South Africa. You can write your own book, you can write your own story, and that your story is valid, and that it can get published. But what that has done for me is it has left me inundated with inbox messages, with, I can barely go on social media without someone saying, "Hi, Sisi, I've written a book, can you have a look?" And I don't necessarily have the time to answer to all those questions, especially because some of the questions that I get, it's very clear that the person doesn't even understand the process. So if a person says to me, I've got a book and can you help me with editing? It says very clearly that this person doesn't understand what editing is in relations to the whole publishing process. Okay. So when I decided to hold a masterclass, I thought it would be an opportunity for people to come, sit down, and for me to explain what publishing is, for me to explain the different routes that are available to you. So what we've got in the country at the moment is we've got the self-publishing route that is on the rise, because the publishing industry is very small, so we are unable to absorb all the stories that people want to tell. Okay. So the self-publishing route is on the side. So we're going to be discussing things like what are the pros and cons of going mainstream and going and doing self-publishing, and what are you looking out for when you're doing when you're self-publishing, because a lot of the books that are self-published, the quality is shocking.
Okay, indulge me now, Thabiso. What do you do? Do you actually teach aspiring authors how to write, or do you nurture the talent that's already there? I'd
like to think it as a bit of both. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and explore writing techniques, right? And we're also going to explore how valid your idea is. So for example, if you want to write a story on an evil stepmother and two stepsisters, Cinderella's been done. So it's saying to people, how valid is your idea? Have you done your research? Because I also find a lot of people don't do research. People come up with books that already exist. Just the other day, I got sent screen grabs of a book that is self-published, and its title is Broken. It just came out. I brought out a book last year called Broken. So it's those things that, publishing is not a hobby, and it's a problem that I get because writing and reading is a hobby for most people. They don't understand that it is actually a business.
And people need to get creative.
Yes, and that people need to get creative, and you can't just wake up and write a book. All the people that have been through something in life, just because you've been through something quite profound or deep, doesn't mean you're a motivational speaker or writer, and how long is a book? 5,000 words is not a book. And when someone says, I've got a book, I've written it on Word, and it's 50 pages on Word. 50 pages on Word, it's absolutely nothing, So someone comes in, they've got 10,000 words, and you tell them for a decent book, you need about 60,000 to 70,000 words to start off with, So it's those things. So you just getting people to reimagine what publishing is and what creating a book entails.
You've been around in this industry for quite a while now. Do you see some bit of growth? Are we headed somewhere?
We are, absolutely. We are. I think especially in terms of where the black market is concerned, I think because they've woken up to the fact that their narratives are valid, and they're finding themselves more and more the books that are being published. Yeah. So there's the demand is greater, but the market still isn't brilliant. I would like for it to be a bit more healthier than it is now.
Yeah. Are there any support structures for aspiring authors?
Not really. I mean, unless you're lucky enough to find a published author that's willing to mentor you, or if you find like there are some let me see, there's Anfasa that operates from Braamfontein, and they offer grants, but they're probably like the only institution I know that will offer you a grant so you can go write a book. So in South Africa, when you write, you can't afford to just be a writer. You have to be a writer and have a day job.
Yeah.
Because the royalties that you make off of writing aren't anything to live on.
I can imagine. So
Yeah.
what exactly motivated you to initiate this retreat?
I felt like I wanted to give information, but I also felt like I don't have the time to take out of my schedule to be talking to every single person that comes in my inbox or my email, you know. And I also thought people have not gotten the idea that the work I do is valuable as well. So they're very happy to pay 1,000 rand to go see a psychologist. But you should have seen the messages on my Facebook page when the price came out and it was 1,000 rand for the retreat, and people said, "What happened to free information?" And before I could respond, luckily someone said it's called Google free information.
Okay.
So it is that. Do you value what you want? If you value wanting to write a book, if you think writing a book is something that you want to do, then this retreat offers you the opportunity to invest in that.
All right. Now, so what are some of the books that you've published so far?
So if I start right at the beginning, I started with Macintosh Polela's My Father, My Monster.
Oh, really?
That was my first bestseller. It was in fact the book that said to me that the black market exists and they're just eager for these stories.
Sure.
And then after that, I published Bonnie Hannah's Eye Bags and Dimples.
Yeah.
I published Rudy Klabi's Endings and Beginnings.
Yeah.
And so that went and won the biggest book award in the country and gave me like an like a crisis, because I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now to top this?
Right.
You know, I've published Zoleka Mandela, I've published Malaga Wazania. I'm going to feel so sad because I'm going to forget some of it. It's like having children and you forget what the other one's name is, and in a little while. But I've published quite a lot, and especially under Blackbird, I think that's my proudest work.
And I do understand that you're writing a book on Bonang Mateba.
I'm not writing it, I'm publishing it.
Okay.
So she's writing it with Gugu Mhlungu, who is on 702 and used to be the lifestyle editor at
Yes.
City Press.
Yes, yes.
So they're writing it together, and I'm the captain. I steer the ship and the direction
Yeah.
of the book.
All right. So what can people look forward to
In the book?
in the book and in the retreat as well?
In the retreat, I hope to give people valuable information to walk away with. I hope people walk away either knowing that they're not writers or knowing that they are writers and hopefully empowered to pursue that.
All right. So how do authors, aspiring authors, get in touch with you?
They get in touch with me through our social media pages.
Okay.
So Blackbird Books on both Twitter
Okay.
and Facebook.
Please give us the names of the social media pages.
It's Blackbird Books
Blackbird Books.
on both Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
And if you go on the pages, you'll find all the email addresses that you need to email there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thabiso, great having you.
Thank you
and
so
well done.
much. Yeah.
That was acclaimed publisher Thabiso Mahlape talking to us about her writer's masterclass seminar, which is coming up soon. And we do thank her for her time. Well, this is PM News. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a short break now. We'll be back with more sport action.